that. But as you can also see from the photo, I have a pretty keen interest in photography. And for those that don't know about the girl group Dreamcatcher, apparently rumors are saying that there's a new album released in April, which I am very, very excited about. So I'm going to pass it over to Aaron, who's going to introduce himself as well.
Hey everyone, I'm Aaron. So, a few facts about me. Number one is that I've only recently just joined ISTech. This has been my first few weeks here. My second fact is that I love cooking, as you can maybe see in the photo. I'm cooking a steak in that photo. I absolutely love steak. My third fact is that I love playing the drums. I've been playing for about 5 years and I can't stop. And my fourth fact is that I watched the Batman movie and I cannot get over it and I can't stop talking about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron. All right. So a bit of the agenda today. So I'm going to be talking about my personal travel experience in Australia, and Aaron's going to go through a little bit about his personal travel experience in Australia as well. But more so, we would like to introduce you to one of the icons that we have down here in Australia called the Great Barrier Reef. But not only that, we want to delve a little bit deeper into the Great Barrier Reef as well, where not many people know about. And Aaron's going to present a little bit more about the problem that the Great Barrier Reef faces and the solutions that's being addressed to that one. All right, so let us begin. So a bit about my experience. So I wanted to showcase you guys a little bit about Mount Kosciuszko. Yes, it looks like a very hard word to spell, but I kid you not, it is not that hard to pronounce. So Mount Kosciuszko, I climbed up that mountain. It is the highest peak in Australia, as you can see, 2,228 meters above the sea level. Where it's located over here. This little line here, if you guys can see, represents the border of New South Wales and Victoria. It's so far away down south that Sydney's not even up on the map, and we're near Canberra, actually. So a little bit more about Mount Kosciuszko. It's literally all just rocks. Everywhere you go, everything you see is just rocks upon more rocks upon more rocks. But you know, it's such a lovely view there. It's so quiet as well. You don't see anything apart from like mountain ranges on the side. But a little bit of a funny fact that if you do go there, be sure to wear sunscreen, because as you can see, there's no sun. It's all clouds, right? I still got sunburnt pretty badly because it's that high up above the sea level. But not only that, I want to introduce you guys to just the surrounding places around that Mount Kosciuszko. So this was about an hour drive away at this lookout called Scammell's Point Lookout. When I went with me and my friends here, as you can see, I'm the one over here taking a photo, and that is the exact same mountain that I climbed up at the very top over there, but from a different angle. And this place is called Scammell Ridge Lookout. So as you can see, we went in the summer here where it's all green, all luscious, and that Mount Kosciuszko I was talking about was just that little point over there. There's actually 7 different mountain ranges here. But what you don't see is that in winter, this will be all covered in white blanket of snow where you can see mountaintops and everything like that. It's an absolutely beautiful scenery to look at. Now I'll pass it over to Aaron to talk a little bit more about his personal travel experience as well.
So I want to introduce you all to a place that you may not have heard about. This place is called Lake Condola. So as you can see here on this map, it's a town. You can see Sydney at the top and Canberra at the bottom. It's about 3 hours south of Sydney. And my friends and I, we went here when we finished high school to celebrate. Now, a lot of you have heard the crazy stereotypes about the wildlife in Australia, you know, the kangaroos, the crazy spiders, the giant snakes. I'm here to tell you that all of those stereotypes are absolutely real. I've seen them. They can be terrifying. On the left, you can see that spider over there. That was hanging above our barbecue one night. Let's just say we did not eat that night. The snake, this isn't a photo I took, but we saw a snake about this size slide onto someone else's house. We drove away very quickly. Yeah. And then, as you can see in the video, there are some things that are much less terrifying. If we could get the video played, please. And we'll see.
Hey, mate. How's it going? Hey, buddy.
You know, standard Australian things. Kangaroos, you'll see them everywhere, the wallabies. They might be sitting in your backyard. You might see them run past your window. Maybe they'll stare at you while you walk past. So there's that. But there's another thing about Lake Conjola, and this probably is my favorite thing about it. It's so far away from the city and the urban areas that the light pollution is a lot lower. And what this means is that on a night with, say, no clouds, you can see the stars so clearly, and it's beautiful. This isn't a photo that I took because my camera at the time did not work, and then that phone broke a week later as well. But if you ever go to Australia and you go to Lake Conjola, you'll have to see it for yourself. You'll see this photo, it's pretty accurate. Now I'm going to hand it back over to Carson, and we're going to talk about the Great Barrier Reef.
Thank you for that, Aaron. So all things about the Great Barrier Reef. So what is it exactly? I'm going to let this Queensland government video about the Great Barrier Reef introduce you guys a little bit to it. So, Alright, I'm gonna stop the video there, but as you guys can see, from the Great Barrier Reef, it is one of Australia's iconic landmarks, along there with one of the 7 wonders of the world, just located in Queensland. Did you know, as a matter of fact, that there are only 2 things visible from space? The first one being the Great Wall of China, the second one actually being the Great Barrier Reef. That's a little bit of an interesting fun fact there. But the thing about the Great Barrier Reef, which is so prominent and so good about it, is that not only does it attract many tourists in a local level, but also on an international level as well. It's home, as you guys saw from the video, to many, many different species of fish, coral and everything, which is in itself a marine ecosystem and what I would call a marine city as well. Like, you see so much on the surface, people visiting there and, you know, taking photos and going for experience scuba diving and all that. But what we want to highlight to you is something that people don't see above the surface of the Great Barrier Reef, about all these problems that like the Great Barrier Reef faces because of what's happening around the world today. And for that, I'm going to actually pass it over to Siam, who's going to elaborate, sorry, not Siam, to Aaron, who's going to elaborate a little bit more about a problem that the Great Barrier Reef faces today.
The problem. Can anyone tell me what this photo represents? Someone, just unmute or type in the chat, whatever you'd like. Someone tell me what the photo represents. What did you say? Climate change, global warming, I'm seeing. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, it represents global warming. Now, the Great Barrier Reef is in grave danger because of an increase in the temperature across the globe. Global warming is arguably a prevalent factor in the global landscape. 11 of the 12 hottest years on record have taken place since 2000. 90% of the excess heat from global warming is stored in the oceans. And you can only imagine the effect that this would have on the reef. At the current rate of global warming, we are expecting a 6-degree rise in global temperatures by the end of the century if we don't act. So to try and prevent this, in 2015, all of the countries in the world, well, nearly all of the countries, signed the Paris Agreement on climate change. And they have set a target of keeping the global average temperature rise at 1.5 degrees. In order to do this, they are aiming to massively accelerate the transition away from carbon-intensive energies, such as coal, secure major reductions in wasteful material use, In order to achieve this, however, we need a widespread effort from the community and businesses at large in order to actually have an effect towards this solution.
And that is it for our presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed and got to know a little bit more about the iconic Great Barrier Reef and our personal experiences about travel and nature here in Australia. We're going to go and move on to any Q&A that you guys may have. Anything to do with the Great Barrier Reef or our personal travel experiences or anything about Australia in general. But before we do that, feel free to go and connect with us. There's our Instagram and there's our Facebook as well. Keep up the networking and all that. But like I said, if you guys do have any questions that you'd like to ask us about Australia, feel free to shoot away because we'd be happy to answer anything that comes along as well. So I'll leave the space up for any questions you guys may have. I see someone there sharing us funny slang. All right, Aaron, do you know a funny slang?
A funny slang.
Yeah.
Let's see. God, it's become a part of my vocabulary now. I need to think about it a bit. I probably should have prepared more for that. You got anything, Carson?
Oh, I think I'll leave the slang to you. I think people in the chat is requesting a joke from me. So
okay. The slang.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do an Australian joke actually. So
yeah, you know,
we have this weapon. We have this weapon in Australia called a boomerang, which they're used by the native Aboriginals here. So that was used back when they wanted to hunt animals. The cool thing about boomerang is that when you throw it, it will always return back to you. I was going to make a joke about boomerang, but it never came back to me. And I'll pass over to CM now.
CM?
Oh, sorry, no, Aaron.
Okay, so okay, I definitely didn't Google this. I just want to make sure you all have the right experience and I can give you the correct information. So some slang that we have, instead of saying in the afternoon, we say in the arvo. You know, you might have heard of, instead of chucking something on the barbecue, we call it the barbie. Slang for beer is a cold one. I don't really drink beer, so I don't say that much. But anyway, what else have we got? Oh yes, umbrella. Some people would just say brolly.
In hindsight, what you hear is that everyone in Australia likes to shorten things.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, but aside from that, I see that the breakout rooms are closing. I hope you guys really enjoyed our presentation about Australia today. Like I said, feel free to connect with us and hopefully we'll get to talk with some of you, same with Aaron as well.
Thanks for listening.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.